Hey, what's going on? It's Bill Burr, and it's time for the Monday Morning Podcast for Monday, September 29th, 2025. What's going on? How are ya? How's it going, man? What's going on with you, man? Oh, Billy, football this weekend. Oh, Billy watched a bunch of football. I was literally like, I said to my wife, I said, sweetheart, I go, I am going to try to stay home and not do anything. And I was literally like climbing the fucking walls. There's something wrong with me. Well, we all know that. But I'm starting to realize it. I'm trying to figure out, like, do you know, like, restless leg syndrome? Which I always just thought that was some nervous guy that, like, needed to control the conversation or was maybe stealing from the company. So he's kind of like, his fucking foot's doing like Morse code, you know, like he's a fucking agent or some shit, spy. Evidently, it's painful. I looked that up. Like, what is restless leg syndrome? I don't have restless leg syndrome. I have inability to sit down on a couch for longer than like 8 minutes. And I keep saying, you know what? I'm going to start meditating. I'm going to go back to fucking therapy. I'm going to... And I don't. And what I do is I just, bounce around. So, my wife goes, why don't you smoke a little weed? And I was like, well, I'm not, I don't like doing that when the kids are up. Like, that's something every once in a while, I'll step out on the balcony, my pajamas, and be like, Jesus Christ. And then I'll fucking take a hit. And then I get goofy, and I'm like, hey, let's watch a comedy. And 2 seconds later, I fall asleep. That's why I never wasn't into smoking when I was younger, so I never smoked it. But all I ever found, it just makes me go to sleep. And they're like, oh, this weed's for being creative. This weed, you'll fucking clean your house. It's like all weed has the exact same effect on me. I smoke it, I laugh for about 8 to 10 minutes, and then I just fall asleep. So, I went out to the garage instead with my daughter, and I got my drum kit, and then I got this little one that I was telling you about, little 20-inch bass drum. And we just play like this copycat game. So I play like a beat, and then she has to play it. And it's really cool. So I've been doing that with my son. He's still really young. So he's like, Dad, you do what I do. And then it's actually a good listening exercise to me because what he's playing is in 5-year-old time signature. Like Frank Zappa would have to write it out, or Vinnie Colaiuta could play it. But I did that, and then my son, he can ride like a bike now, and he calls it his motorcycle and stuff. It's really cool, and he wrote it. He wanted to ride it twice. He was like all excited. We had a little bit of work done on the house, so we had to rent a place. So during that time when I would have taught him to ride a bike, he was a little behind, so it was making me feel bad, but he can swim. That's the big thing. The big thing with me, they need to learn how to swim, and they need to learn how to defend themselves. And then everything else kind of falls into place. But then there's also, on the third tier, is they got to learn how to ride a bike, I don't know. I figure the new world's going to teach them all the new world shit, so I teach them all the old school shit. How to swim, how to ride a bike, how to throw a ball, how to hit a ball, how to tell time on a fucking real clock, and eventually how to drive a manual transmission. That's my, like, thing. And as much as a lot of that stuff would be like, well, it's going to be like obsolete or whatever, it's still fucking cool that you know how to do it. And you know the deal. When you're a little kid, if you know how to do something cool that other kids don't know how to do, makes your life a little easier. So, anyway, we were doing that. And then I was just like, you know what? I'm going to just stay home Saturday and Sunday. I'm not doing shit. I'm not going to go out and do spots. I'm not going to figure out an errand I can go run and all of that. I'm just going to fucking stay home. So on Saturday, I was coming back from a road gigs, and I got to the house and I watched Alabama versus Georgia, which is I gotta tell you, that kid on Alabama, that Simpson kid, he's got an arm on him. Both of them were fucking throwing it all over the yard. I watched so much football. I watched Georgia, Alabama. Now, you know what's funny is I'm at this place now where I don't hate any teams. I don't know what happened in football. It's like Pete Carroll retired and all those players in Seattle. You mad, bro? All of those idiots, they're all gone. So I don't hate Seattle. Pete Carroll's with the Raiders. I liked the Raiders when I was growing up, so like I'm excited to see what he's going to do there. And plus, you know, that's interesting. Andy Reid, Jim Harbaugh, Pete Carroll, all in the same, you know, division. I mean, those are arguably at least 2 out of 3 are going to be Hall of Famers, Andy Reid and Pete Carroll. And I figure, I don't know where Jim Harbaugh is. What do you think? You know, he took the 49ers to the Super Bowl. Then he goes and he wins a national championship and kicks Ohio State's ass for like 3 years in a row with Michigan. Brings that program back. I know that's at the college level. That doesn't count. Now he's with the Chargers, who beat fucking Kansas City the first week. So, you know, I don't know. I mean, there is an argument. So, I don't hate the Colts anymore because Jim Irsay, rest his soul, passed away. Peyton Manning's long gone. There's no reason to hate him. And then all of a sudden, I'm loving Daniel Jones. I was one of his biggest critics, going like, what the fuck did they give this kid $70 million for? Turns out all the man needed was an offensive line. I'll get into that Rams-Colts game. I had the Colts. Jesus fucking Christ. So on Sunday, I watched the Patriots versus the Panthers. Now, I know the Panthers don't have a good team, but the Patriots needed that's our first blowout since Tom Brady in like 2018. It's been a long fucking time since we had a game that was over in like the third quarter. So that was great to see. And, you know, if we didn't shoot ourselves in the foot with 6 turnovers and a bunch of penalties against the Pittsburgh Steelers, I mean, we could very easily be 3-1. But, you know, I'll take 2-2. Speaking of the Steelers, how about Aaron Rodgers? Fitting in there like a glove. Jesus Christ, it really must be the Jets. Because Aaron Rodgers was taking all the fucking heat. And, you know, he did great in Green Bay, you know, and then it got a little sour towards the end. Then he goes to the Jets, and they're like, oh, he's in his old cunty years, and he doesn't know when to retire. And all of a sudden he goes to the Steelers, and it's like, wait a minute. So I was wrong about, first of all, I was wrong about War of the Worlds. I was wrong about Daniel Jones, and I was wrong about Aaron Rodgers. I was buying into that. Yeah, you know, he's being all grumpy and shit, and, you know, this is this classic Hall of Famer coming to the end of the road. He can't turn off that competitive thing. His body won't do what his brain wants him to do. I was buying into all of that shit. Just turns out, sometimes it's just the obvious answer. He was playing for the Jets. Sometimes it is. I always use the Law and Order analogy, like when you watch an episode of Law and Order and all of a sudden they arrest somebody in the first 5 minutes. And you're like, there's no fucking way it can be this guy. There's still another 50 minutes left of the show, minus commercials, right? Well, with the Jets, when they make an arrest in the first 5 minutes, it is that guy. It is the Jets. So I watched the Patriots, then I watched the fucking Colts beat themselves like 58 different ways. I mean, that guy running down the sidelines, he has a touchdown, and for whatever fucking reason, he wants to hold the ball out before he goes over the line of scrimmage. So I texted a friend of mine, right? Keith Robinson. I go, Keith, if you hear that there's a CEO, I forget what the analogy was. stealing money and writing himself a bonus and not giving somebody benefits, like the Starbucks people or whatever the fuck is going on over there. I go, if you had to guess what color he is, what are you saying? He goes, I'm going to guess that's a white guy. I said, all right, well, here's one for you. I go, somebody's running for a touchdown. They're going to get a touchdown, but before they get across the goal line, they do something fancy with the ball, and then they fucking end up dropping it, and it goes out the back of the end zone for a touchback. What color do you think that guy is? And he writes back, he goes, fuck you. I go, Keith, I don't think in the history of the NFL a white player has ever done that. And it's not because we're more disciplined. I think we're so fucking excited that we're actually there. I think we just keep running until someone goes, all right, you did it. So anyways, that poor kid does that. He felt so fucking bad. I actually felt really bad for him. He was just going like, oh my God. It was so weird because he wasn't really doing anything fancy. He just sort of went, the second he went to stick it out, it was like, it just sort of it's like it levitated. The ghost of Don Beebe was there or something. And then on another play, now this one I don't, they ran one like 30, 40 yards for a fucking touchdown. And then it gets called back for holding. It ends up being the same kid. But, like, I can't say he blew both touchdowns. It's like, well, he fucking pushed the guy's head into the ground. Maybe that's why there was nobody there. Still would have been like a 20-yard gain or whatever. But, and then they end up tying it up. They go into fucking overtime. Oh, no, it's the end of the game. The end of the fucking game. And I'm thinking, like, and I got the Colts. All right? It's a tie score. I know the Rams are going to go down the field and kick a field goal because there's no fucking defense anymore. There's literally no defense. So I'm like, all right, so the Rams are going to win this game by 3. Colts are going to learn something. They kind of, made a lot of stupid penalties and other shit. First fucking play. They're 88 yards away. They throw the ball. This guy's fucking wide open. It runs down the field. And I'm like, you got to be fucking kidding me. I lose this bet too. Dude, I literally wanted to go outside and chop down a tree with my fucking cell phone watching that game, right? And they show the replay. The corner didn't even get tangled up with the receiver. He got tangled up with himself. Tripped and fell, a la Daniel Jones. No one around him. And then this kid's wide open for a touchdown. They lose the game, and they don't cover. And I had to go for a walk. So then I sit down, I go, oh, fuck it. Now I'm going to watch Green Bay versus the Cowboys. And there was literally no defense in that game. They just went up and down the fucking field. All right? It's just all about offense now. And I got to say something here. This whole fucking thing where they go, the evolution of the 50-yard field goal. What the fuck is that? What happened to a human being in the last 3 fucking years? For the last 40 fucking years, almost 50 years I've been watching football, a 50 fucking yarder. I don't even think that was 50-50. A 50-yarder was a big deal. And in the last 3 years, it's like automatic. I don't buy it. This feels like some Major League Baseball where they make it easier to hit a home run. They juice up the ball. I think the field goal kickers, I don't know what they got in there. I'm not a chemistry guy. Helium, potassium, some sort of phosphate. I don't know what they're putting in that fucking ball, but these guys are kicking like 58-yarders with like 10 yards to spare. And they go, this guy kicked a 70-yarder. And the kickers are still their same wispy yoga instructor looking selves. So, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's like that Nathan's hot dog eating contest where you think it's the big fat guy that's going to win it. And then there's always like some skinny little dude who weighs as much as a picture frame. It's just like, where is he putting it? So anyways, they go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And then the Cowboys are up by 3. The Packers get the Cowboys got the ball with like a minute something left. They go right down the field. I forget if they scored a touchdown or a field goal. The whole game is a fucking blur. They go up by 3 points. There's 46 seconds left. And Collinsworth goes, plenty of time. There's plenty of time on the fucking clock. Plenty of time? They're on their own 27-yard line. That fucking game was over 9 ways to Sunday with a minute and a half left. When I was a kid growing up, if you came back with only 90 seconds left, it would have been Alcoa presents fantastic finishes. Collinsworth, plenty of time. I'm like, what the fuck is this guy talking about? Dak Shepard goes back. CeeDee Lamb is out. There's still plenty of people to catch the ball. Somebody catches the fucking ball. Gains 29 yards in the first play. Now they're like on the other in their own 49-yard line. They're on their own 49-yard line, and Collinsworth is going like, they're starting to creep into fucking field goal territory. And then they just go down the field. They kick a fucking field goal. Now we go into overtime. Packers score. Cowboys score, and it just fucking ends a tie. And guess what happened? We all watched to the end, and we watched extra football. We sat through all the fucking commercials. I think the league sits there, and they know the formula. Offense sells the game to the casual fan, and that's what they've turned it into. You're just watching Madden football. You're watching Madden football. I don't know. But, I mean, I did enjoy the games, but Jesus Christ. It's like watching tennis now. You ever watch when they show the crowd watching tennis and they're just going like, you know, their heads are going side to side? Which is why if you go to Wimbledon, the Royals, the box is on one end. Because when you live in a castle with a bunch of stolen gold, you don't want to be fucking, you know, you have too much money to be whipping your head. The people on the side, that's the commoner seats. That's what I realized. So anyways, that was my football experience. And then on the road, Billy fucking trying to go to as many countries as he can. And went to 2 new countries, Bahrain and Manama, beep, 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 Bahrain. And then I went to Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. And I worked with Josh Adam Myers. And, you know, stand-up is new to this part of the world, so they always have, like, fucking restrictions and shit when you go over there. So the first time you do a new country in the Middle East, it's fucking hilarious. You go on stage, and you're sitting there going, like, am I going to get arrested? Like, what can I do here, right? So we went up at Bahrain, and we didn't realize that Bahrain was cool. Bahrain's where people in Saudi Arabia go to drink alcohol, party, and have, like, a good time, right? So Josh had never worked the Middle East before, and he went out on stage, and in 15 minutes, like, I don't think I have ever laughed so hard. He had a full-on, he was freaking out. He was smiling ear to ear, but he had this flop sweat, and in his eyes, he was like just totally freaking out. Me and Club Soda Kenny were fucking dying, and when he started, he was afraid to curse, so he was saying, like, mother trucker and all of this shit. Then he just kept pushing it. And by the end, I don't even know what joke he was doing. Going to a proctologist or something, he's like, the doctor's got 4 fingers in my ass. The whole fucking place is going nuts, laughing. Like, we didn't realize that, like, all of that was like, cool there. So I spent the first 5 minutes, like, making fun of him. And the crowd was dying laughing because they thought it was fucking hilarious, like how nervous we were. Like when I went through customs in Bahrain, you know, I was talking to the person, right? And I'm like going, yeah, hey, you know, I'm trying to be the friendly American guy going, yeah, it's my first time over here. And then the guy's like, you know, why are you over here? I go, I'm a comedian. I'm doing stand-up shows. He goes, oh, yeah. He goes, you can tell all jokes about the Middle East. Like, you think you're going to come over here and get beheaded, right? And I'm looking at him like, no. That's, you know, if I was a little more relaxed, I would have been like, yeah, and you thought I was going to show up weighing fucking 600 pounds, wearing some Crocs, talking about just got a truck, you know? But this is why you travel. So he ends up busting my chops a little bit, and I'm like, all right, these guys are funny. And so we ended up doing the gig. And I was on stage at one point, so I'm like, all right, well, Josh kind of talked about sex. I got a bit that's a little bit about sex. So I start telling this joke about sex. And in the middle of the fucking joke, this guy in a dish dash, those are those fucking things everybody wears over there with the whole head garb, the whole goddamn thing. Him and his wife get up, and she's wearing a burqa. In the middle of this joke, they fucking get up and walk out. And I'm like, oh, fuck. Oh, fuck, did I go? Am I in trouble? So I look over, and Kenny's staring at me with this typical fucking emotionless look on his face. And I'm like, turned sideways, so I'm upstage, and I give him like the thumbs up, like, am I cool? And he's just staring at me, and Josh Adam Myers isn't there anymore. So now I'm totally in my head, but I already started the joke. I got to finish it. And everybody else is laughing, so I'm like, all right, well, maybe I'll just get in a little bit of trouble. Fuck it. So I finished the joke. I start another joke, and I made a comment about them leaving. I go, oh, looks like I'm getting in trouble, and no one really laughed. So I'm like, oh, fuck, right? So then, like 2 jokes later, the dude comes back with his wife. And then I just go, hey, I guess I'm going to live. And everybody fucking laughed. And anyway, long story short, it was a great gig. And in the end, you know, all the people that were working security were like laughing, going, dude, all the stuff you said, that's fine here. That's fine here. And I go, what about in Saudi Arabia? And then they kind of go like, and I go, really? And then they just start laughing at me. And they go, no, you're going to be fine. You're going to be fine. And I'm like, fuck you guys. Tell me what's going on. And they just laughed at me, right? They're silly, right? So I go, all right. So that night, me and Josh were so fucking relieved. There's a cigar bar at the hotel, right? So I go, fuck it. I haven't had one since January. I could use a fucking cigar after that. So we go down there, and we have a cigar. And, oh, I forgot this part when I was landing in Bahrain. Like, I'm fucking nervous, right? This is all, you know, I don't know. Going to get in trouble, right? And when we were connecting in Qatar, this woman got on the plane, and she was wearing the full burqa, but she had a baby with her, this adorable baby. And, you know, I'm a big softy dad, so without even thinking, I see the baby, and I just go, oh, like that. And she broke out in a big smile. I could only see her eyes, right? Like, but I could tell she was smiling. And then she turned the baby around and waved its arm at me. I'm like, oh, yeah, that's right. She's a mom. Different culture, but people are people. And that made me relax a little bit. So anyway, so now we're in the cigar bar, and we're having a cigar. And we're totally relieved. Like, I wish you could experience it. The making somebody laugh on the other side of the fucking world, like this connection, it's amazing, right? So we're sitting there, we're totally relieved. And so we're in this cigar bar, and it kind of has everybody. Me, Josh, and Kenny, we're the Americans. It's got the Dish Dash guys are up on the bar. And then it's got some randos that are kind of in the middle. And then there's like 2 hookers. I was joking, 2 hookers on a hookah are at this other table, right? And they're sort of trying to talk to us or whatever. We're just sitting there, right? Like we're in a fucking spy movie. But I was really like observing all the people, right? And then I see a guy up at the bar, and this other guy, it starts getting aggressive or whatever. And I'm like going, oh, wow, that guy's fucking hammered. He can't handle his alcohol. Now his boy's trying to settle him down. And it looks like it's going to be a fight. And then he just puts his hand on his shoulder. I see the guy relax. He puts his arm around him, and then they're laughing. I'm like, these guys, they're just like fucking, you know, they're just like us. I get it. I get what just happened there. I don't speak the language, but I get it. So they keep giving you this Arabic coffee, which is delicious, and then they give you dates, which, by the way, in the Middle East, they know an infinite amount of ways to prepare dates, and they're fucking delicious. But I got to warn you, they make you beyond regular. All right? Not to get graphic, but I was shitting like a racehorse over there. All right, so now the next day, okay? So that was the friendly. Now we're going to Saudi Arabia. And Josh is going like, dude, I feel good now. I feel good. And I'm going, I don't know, man. I'm fucking nervous about this one. This is like, we're in the shit here. Like, they have never had a comedy festival. And, I don't know what's going to happen here. And, like, my whole fucking idea of Saudi Arabia is what I've seen, like, on the news. I literally think I'm going to fucking land, and everybody's going to be screaming, death to America. And they're going to have, like, fucking machetes and want to, like, chop my head off, right? Because this is what I've been fed about that part of the world, right? And we're flying over it. It's nothing but, like, these long roads and sand. It's like nothing. And I'm like, what the fuck? What the fuck did I get myself into? And then we land. And now here we are, right? And we end up driving into town. It's a city, everything, right? And everybody's just regular. They're dressed different, but they're regular. Like people just shooting the shit. Hey, how you doing? Welcome. We're saying, hey, we're happy to be here. And we're driving around, and then I'm just like going like, I thought this place was going to be like really tense. And I'm thinking like, is that a Starbucks? Next to a Pete's Coffee? Next to a Burger King? Next to a McDonald's? Next to a Pizza Hut? Next to a Dunkin' Donuts? Next to a Krispy Kreme? Next to a Cheesecake Factory? Next to a KFC? Next to a Chili's? They got a fucking Chili's over here? Then we go into the mall because I want to get my kids something. There was a Timberland store. I could have bought Timberlands like I was in Brooklyn, New York. And then there's advertisement for like boxing and fucking Formula One and Moto GP and golf and all of this stuff. And I was like, oh. And then it just struck me as funny. It's like, they're eating this shit too. They're going to have to get some bigger fucking clothes. They're going to end up looking like us. So, I go down to do the show, right? And they say, all right, the front 2 rows is going to be all diplomats in these padded seats. And then up top, the Royals are going to be there. And it was like in the round and everything. And everyone was like ridiculously excited that there was going to be stand-up comedy there. And this is what's amazing about the arts and stand-up comedy is comedians have always pushed like the boundaries. And this was like a classic case. Like, I guess this is tipping the cap to the people that set up the festival over there. When they first went to set it up over there, the rules on what they had about what you could say and what you couldn't say in Saudi Arabia, the people running the festivals will be like, all right, well, man, that's game, set, match. If this is like all you can talk about and you want some good comedians, like this isn't going to work. And then to their credit, they said, all right, what do we got to do? And they just negotiated it all the way down to like, you can talk about anything, other than a couple things, which was basically, religion, don't make fun of the royals. And other than that, it was everything was like open. And then in my head, I'm like, oh, well, I got this bit about going to my gym and there was a bunch of gay guys there. I don't know about this, right? So anyway, I go in. It's this beautiful venue. It's in the fucking round. And they're playing Crosby, Stills, and Nash. I've never been like, I was always into metal or whatever, and they were playing that song, Sweet Judy Blue Eyes. And I don't know, for the first time in my life, I connected with that song, probably because I was so fucking nervous about like, what is going to happen when I go out there and I do my shit. Everybody's like, no, just do your shit. Just don't talk about those 2 things. I'm like, I can talk about, yeah, it's going to be fine. I'm like, it's going to be fine, right? So I'm like, all right. So I'm waiting to go on. Josh is up there. He's fucking killing. And he literally said to a guy in the front row, he goes, hey, man. He goes, you can wear sandals over here and still get pussy? And everybody laughed, and the guy goes, yeah. And Josh is like, yeah, that's fucking awesome. And I was just like, oh, all right. Maybe this isn't going to be, as crazy as I thought it was going to be. It was a fucking, I'm not going to lie, it was a mind fuck, right? So I'm standing there, I'm waiting to go on, and somebody from the crowd sees me. And he's dressed all in their traditional shit, right? And he just goes, hey, Bill Burr, I love you. Kick ass, man. And I could just feel, I'm like, these fucking people, the people, okay, they want a fucking show. You could feel it. I was talking to the other comics, you could feel it. They wanted you to push, right? It was really fucking exciting. So I go up on stage, and I start doing my shit, and they're fucking into it. everything's going good. And I'm not going to lie to you. I'm checking out the diplomats as I'm doing this stuff, and they're all fucking laughing. All right, so I'm going to push a little farther. And all of a sudden, I start getting in the zone. Well, Billy's feeling loose up there. And my brain just goes, gay Jim. And then the other part of my brain goes, don't do that. And then I said, fuck it, I'm going to do it. So I started doing the joke, and it fucking murdered. It murdered. They all loved it. And at that point, I was just like, fuck it. I'm just doing my act. So I did my act, did the whole thing. And I had to stop a couple times during the show. I was like going I'll be honest with you guys, I cannot fucking believe any of you have any idea who I am. This is really amazing. And it was just this great exchange of energy, right? So at one point, they know their reputation. So they were extra friendly. They wanted to, it was so funny. So I'm doing this bit talking about how I make my kids breakfast every day. And part of the joke is I go through really quickly the recipe for a Dutch baby. And I just went through the recipe. Obviously that's not funny, but when I finished saying the recipe, it got an applause break. And I said, all right, you guys, I get it, okay? You're trying to make us feel welcome as Americans. You don't have to go that far. You literally just applauded a recipe. And they all died laughing for me calling them out on it. So then I go back into the joke and I go, all right, so anyway, so I take the skillet and then I stick it into the oven. And some dude way up top goes, woo! Like Homer Simpson. They were silly and then whatever. So then the whole thing goes great. And I don't know. I got out of there. I got off stage. Everybody took pictures and all of that type of stuff. And the Royals loved the show. Everyone was happy. The people that were doing the festival were thrilled. And it was just this great positive thing. And I got to tell you, just to be a part of that was fucking amazing. And the comedians that I've been talking to just saying dude, you can feel it. They wanted it. They wanted it. They wanted you to like the people want, they go online and they see it. And they want to see real stand-up comedy. So it was a mind-blowing experience. Definitely top 3 experiences I've ever had. And I don't know. I'm still trying to process it. And then one of the coolest things was I went over there and came right back, and I didn't even try to get on. Middle Eastern time. I just said fuck it. I was falling asleep at 6:30 in the morning and sleeping until 2. And so when I came back here, there's usually kind of a drag. When I come back and I'm all fucking jet lagged. And my kids are waking me up and stuff, and I got to be there for them. But I didn't have to go through that. So overall, it was amazing. So thank you to everyone in Bahrain that came out. Thank you to everyone in Riyadh that came out. I honestly, from the bottom of my heart, I could not have a better time doing shows for you guys. And it was great to experience that part of the world and to be a part of the first comedy festival over there in Saudi Arabia. I think it's going to lead to a lot of positive things. So there you go. That's that. Let's do a little bit of the reads here. By the way, shout out to Mark Marquez coming all the way back, winning the Moto GP championship in September. I didn't get to see the race. I'm telling you, I'm having a problem with my thing online. I got to watch it. I think he came in second or something, but he had enough points to win the whole thing. And it's watching that guy on the best bike available and the way that he is not afraid to just push it to the limit. And I would say arguably him or Valentino Rossi, who would you say has the greatest saves of all time? I mean, I've seen that guy, Marquez, literally have the bike is on the ground. The frame of the bike is scraping, and somehow his high side leg just comes up, and he's able to get the bike back up. I've never, the amount of times that he's done that. And, there's been some amazing saves. If you want to see some amazing saves, just Google that, best saves in Moto GP history. I mean, it's incredible. Oh, also on the flight back, I I decided to watch some Arab cinema, and I watched a really good movie, Hobal, Hobal, and a bonus, not only the story, heartbreaking story, and the acting was fucking great, and it was shot beautifully. A bonus, if you're a car or a truck guy, some of the trucks in that thing, they had a COE Mercedes-Benz that they were carrying water in, and then they had this really cool Toyota. I had to look, I'm going to look it up. It was spelled Hilux 2400 Toyota, which I don't know what Hilux. It just looked like a four-wheel drive Toyota from the 80s, but it was almost like the Baja package too. It was a really fucking cool truck. And just them opening and closing the doors to those trucks, it brought back so many childhood memories. But it was a really beautifully shot movie. Hobal, Hobal. I hope I'm saying it right. But the actors and the director, everything was amazing. All right, let's do some advertising here. All right, Simply Safe, everybody. Simply Safe. I want to talk about your home security for a minute. I used to think home security was just an alarm that goes off after a break-in, scaring the intruder off and getting your neighbor's attention if you're lucky. But that's a reactive approach. That's the old school way, man. By the time an intruder is in your home, it's too late. Your feeling of safety is shattered. That's why real security should stop a crime before it even starts. I mean, that just makes sense. That's why I trust Simply Safe. Their system is designed to be proactive, not reactive. Here's how it works. They use smart AI-powered cameras to identify threats lurking outside your home and immediately alert Simply Safe's professional monitoring agents. These agents intervene in real time before the break-in even begins. They access two-way audio to confront the person, trigger sirens and spotlights to scare them off, and request rapid police dispatch when needed, all helping to stop the intruder while they're still outside. That is real security. Join the more than 4 million Americans who trust Simply Safe for their home security every day, including me. And with the 60-day money-back guarantee and no long-term contract, Simply Safe earns your business by keeping you safe and satisfied every day. Visit simplysafe.com/Burr to claim 50% off a new system. That's simplysafe.com/Burr. There's no safe like Simply Safe. Dude, if you add a fucking big dog to that whole thing, I'm telling you, your house is going to be fine. The siren's going to be going off. The dog's going to be barking. I don't know how to do that. There's a way to have it where it's just the outside of your house so people can move inside. It's like when you're home and the alarm is on type of shit, which is basically if the door or a window opens, then it goes off. So then you get yourself a big dog in there, and that's fine. And as I told you guys, they go to the fucking master bedroom first. So if you got laptops and iPads and shit like that, watches, jewelry, I'm telling you, just don't have them in there. What you should have is knockoff shit. So if they actually do get in, they grab a bunch of knockoff shit. And then you got the real stuff down the way. All right, let's see. Quo, Q-U-O, formerly Open Phone. Quo, you might know it as Open Phone, is one of those tools that can really help business owners. It's the same great business phone system you've heard me talk about before, just a new name. And here's why it matters. If you're running a business, every missed call is money left on the table. Think about the last time you had a plumbing emergency. If the first plumber didn't answer, did you wait or call the next one on the list? Chances are you moved on. With Quo, formerly Open Phone, you'll never miss a chance to connect with your customers. Quo gives you a dedicated business number that works right from an app on your phone or computer. You and your team can share one number, reply to customers faster, and keep everything organized so nothing slips through the cracks. Quo even keeps your phone covered after hours so leads don't disappear while you're away. And if you ever sat through a long business call and couldn't remember what was actually said, you're not alone. Quo's call transcripts and summaries capture the conversation and give you follow-up, so no more taking notes or losing track of the next step. Join over 90,000 businesses already using Quo, formerly OpenPhone, to stay ahead. Go to quo.com/Burr to get started with a free trial and get 20% off your first 6 months. That's QUO.com/Burr, BURR. You can bring your existing number with you for free. Quo, no missed calls, no missed customers. All right, last one, everybody. Fucking hang in there with me here. Cash App. Cash App does more than you think when it comes to having your back and making sure your money stays your money. If you direct deposit at least $300 in paychecks each month and use the Cash App card for purchases, you can unlock up to $200 in free overdraft charges. If you overdraft unexpectedly, there are no hidden fees. Manage your money on your terms and take advantage of free overdraft cover-up. Coverage up to $200 on the Cash App today. For a limited time only, new Cash App customers can use our exclusive code to earn some additional cash. For real, just download Cash App, use our exclusive referral code CASHAPP10, CASHAPP10 in your profile. Send $5 to a friend within 14 days and you get a $10 drop right into your account. Terms apply. That's money. That's Cash App. Cash App is a financial service platform, not a bank. Banking services provided by Cash App's bank partner or partners. Prepaid debit cards issued by Sutton Bank. Member FDIC. Overdraft coverage is provided by Cash App. A Block Inc. brand. Visit cashapp.com/legal/podcast for full disclosure. All right, there you go. Oh, here's another thing. Being in like Saudi Arabia, there's a bunch of smoking hot chicks over there. And I'm going to tell you, even in that fucking burqa, you can tell. You can tell. It's funny. The power of women, no matter what you do, you can't contain it. It was like reverse Instagram over there. I was on stage. I actually said, for the record, I noticed the cutie pies over here wear that veil a little bit lower. Anyway. Yeah, it was like like how chicks go nuts for like a fucking kilt? If you got a pair of pants on, they don't give a fuck. All of a sudden, a guy has a kilt on, and all of a sudden, they want to touch the bag and the pipes, if you know what I mean there. And now it's time to play What's Under the Burqa. All right. Dead Show live footage. Hey, Billy Two-Tone. I found the footage of that show you were at. Here's the whole show. Dude, you guys are fucking amazing. You know what? Now, there's something I would smoke a joint and watch. If you look closely enough, you can see a red dot in the crowd trying to figure out why these guys don't sound like Twisted Sister. That's hilarious. Yeah, I went to 3 big concerts at Sullivan Stadium before it was Schaefer Stadium, before it became Patriot Stadium, and then they got rid of it, before Gillette Stadium. I saw the Grateful Dead. I saw the Rolling Stones on the Steel Wheels tour. And so the one thing that I remember about that was Charlie Watts spinning both his sticks when Mick Jagger mentioned him. And then I saw The Who. And it was raining really bad. And me and my buddy were fucking hammered. And we saw the show, and it was amazing. And I want to say right after we drove down to the Cape. I mean, if that's not a fucking 1980s story, I don't know what is. Jesus Christ, the stupid shit I used to do back then. Fucking idiot. We were fucking idiots. If I can, all of this shit, my generation X now is like, these fucking kids today, they would never survive. They would have survived. And if we were their age today, we would be staring at our phones. And we already are staring at our phones. But, for people younger than Generation X, we are putting all kinds of fucking, fairy dust and sprinkles on the way we came up. I'm telling you, we were fucking morons. The shit that we did. Ever tell you that time I fucking was riding on the hood of a car, hammered, waving to oncoming traffic? And I kept trying to get off, and every time they would slow down, I would start to get off, they would speed up again. And then I finally decided that I was going to hop off because it made sense in my drunk mind. And I hopped off while the car was still going, and I saw the front wheels locked up as I was sliding. I banged my head on the ground, the asphalt. My friend said, all we saw was your fucking legs. You disappeared and your legs were up in the air. I can't believe I didn't get fucking run over. And then I stood up, and my buddy was in the passenger seat, gave me a bear hug to hold me up, and I had this fucking giant cut on the back of my head. So obviously that was the end of my evening, and they dropped me off. I was right in my neighborhood, too. There was no cameras. There was no nothing. The cops, people on the other side of the road saw me doing it, and what were they going to do? They don't have phones. They just shook their head like, there's a fucking idiot about ready to fall off a car, and that's exactly what happened. And then they drove me like fucking 3 blocks over, dropped me off at my house. I snuck back past my parents. I don't know if they were still sleeping or whatever. And then I stood in the shower, and I waited for the water to become an acceptable color of red. And I took a dark washcloth. I was smart enough to do that, and I put it on my pillowcase, and I went to bed. And the next morning, I was fucking hungover, and it was just boom, 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 right where the cut was. And my hair was all matted with like fucking dry blood. And fortunately, it was the weekend. So I was able to it sort of healed up by the time like Monday. And I just sort of shampooed around it. It fucking stung like a motherfucker. And that was just one weekend. That was the shit that we did. Is we tried to act like, we were out there solving problems. We weren't. We were fucking feral. There was nobody watching us, and we were fucking idiots. And that right there was like nothing compared to like some of the I was like considered a smart kid, and I did that. So anyway, plowing ahead. Oh, so because I did that show in Riyadh, and they were playing that Crosby, Stills, and Nash song, Sweet Judy Blue Eyes, which has a really interesting story. It was written by Stephen Stills. It's a fucking masterpiece. I don't know what, like as you guys were saying, I was listening to Twisted Sister, so I couldn't hear it. Like, they were singing so well, I was like, were these guys gay? Like that's what you thought shit like that in the end. So we were fucking idiots. We were idiots. So, at least I was. I'm not going to drag my whole generation down. I was a fucking idiot, right? So, it was probably because the music was beautiful, and it was making me feel like feelings like that, and feelings of love and everything. And it's just like, what the fuck was it gay? You had to be like that, right? So now I'm finally like revisited it, listening to it. And I was like, God damn, especially that breakdown part where they're like, Friday evening. I was just like, Jesus Christ, this is amazing. So I downloaded that song. I listened to it like 9 times in a row. And I was like, I got to get the album. I've listened to that album now since the night of my show. I think I've listened to it. I even listened to it this morning when I was making my kids breakfast. It's like, they need to hear this. And that's what I do with music. I don't say, hey, guys, listen to this. I just put it on in the background. Listen to it again. And now I think it's one of the greatest albums of all time. I mean, this isn't new information, but for me, it is. And it's so funny to me that, like, what finally got me to listen to it, I had to go to Saudi Arabia to understand that Crosby, Stills, and Nash are fucking geniuses. What is this, 3 guys harmonizing with an acoustic guitar? This is fucking stupid. And then I was listening to Britney Fox Girls' School instead. You live, you learn. All right, continuing on. All right, Project Bluebeam. Hey, Billy Space Toes, have you heard of Project Bluebeam? No, I'm not on the internet anymore, so I just I don't want to know what this is. This is probably something crazy. It's an off-the-books project. Oh, that's always good. put together by Werner von Braun. The Nazis that NASA took for their space program. Yes. Yep. They keep that out of those Hollywood movies when they make those heroic. All they show is the common man fighting the Nazis. They don't show what the fucking upper class did. You know, I don't think we have to kill all these Nazis. There's some information. Yeah, we stole a lot from the Germans. Our whole space program, audio tape, just a whole bunch of shit. That must have been awkward when the Mossad, hey, you ever seen this guy? And we're like, no. Yeah? Rumor says he's fucking working for you in Houston. Well, I don't know where you would get that idea. To create a fake, okay. It's an off-the-books project put together by Werner von Braun. Wait, wasn't Hitler's chick named Eva Braun? But von Braun, I think it's the whole last name. I don't know. To create a fake alien contact event to help humanity into a control grid. What is wrong with these people? When will they feel like they have us under their thumb? You know what I mean? For as much as people in this country look at other countries and go, what the fuck are they doing over there? Look at this fucking place we live in. Since like 9/11, you know the government in this country, they can arrest you, not even charge you with anything and hold you indefinitely just because they think you're a fucking terrorist. We're taking mom and dads out of the back of restaurants and putting them in something called alligator Alcatraz. And their crime, making illegally made pupusas. I think they're just using racism to get these vans that show up and snatch people to make it feel normal. And the first thing they're doing is they're doing it to non-white people to then stick them in alligator Alcatraz, which is right out of fucking Austin Powers, right? And then that's just going to become a normal thing. And then gradually they're going to work their way towards white people who need to be re-educated. Anyway, so this is what they want to do. If you saw blue, green, or any red lights come down from above, would you be skeptical? I sure as hell would. Also, you should be aware of the digital ID that the UK is looking to implement. Reject digital IDs with everything you got. It's the final act of the control system. Well, let me ask you this. How do you do that? How do you do that when everybody is on the internet and there's robots out there, literally bots, telling you what to get mad at, what to get outraged about? You know? And everybody is falling victim to it. It's just like we're all attacking each other, which is what they want, and we look all past their sins. You know what I mean? Support the troops and and all of this shit. Support the troops, right? The government tells you to support the troops, and meanwhile they're in business with Nazis after World War II to get information from them, and they're protecting them from the justice that they should have seen. Right? To do what? Implement a system to oppress their own fucking people that literally just fought and died to stop oppression. That's what I'm telling you. Every government, I swear to God, other than maybe Iceland, is all guilty of the same shit. It's depressing. I don't know what their problem is, but I can tell you, having traveled, I don't know how, I'm coming in close to 30 countries. And the people are cool. The government's not cool. The people are cool. But, you know, if you know how to get them all on the same page, how do you do that before, you know, somebody takes you out? Because if you look historically, you know, one of the most dangerous messages is bringing people together. That's the last thing that they want. Like this whole fucking immigration thing is just a giant distraction using racism, where it's just like, you know why you can't afford a house? Because of these illegal non-white people, right? It's like, no, the reason why you can't afford a house is because CEOs now make 400 times what the working man does. And those are the guys that got rid of the middle class. They're the one that fucked the common man. But they're white. So it's hard for white people to evidently see that a white person could be the person that's fucking them, when though the same white people that are fucking you are giving you a brown solution, a non-white solution. Okay, that's my theory. I'm just, and that's all it is. All right, agree with it, don't agree with it. I don't give a shit. You're free to think what you want, as am I. All right, write a book. Oh, Jesus. Dear Pumpkin Spice Voldemort. I don't know what the Voldemort means, but I'm sure it's insulting, so I support the message. As a fellow part-time reader, I like that, part-time reader. That's exactly what I am. I am begging you to write a book. I'll write a book someday. I just got to make sure I'm in the right headspace, because I want it to be fucking hilarious while also helping you guys avoid some of the pitfalls that I've stepped into, which, by the way, is what the purpose of an older citizen like myself is. It's not just to get an AARP card and go to the movies for half price. And then exaggerate the contribution of my generation to younger generations. You mentioned on one of your episodes of the Monday Morning Podcast that you should write a book. And while you were mostly joking, I 100% believe you would absolutely kill it. You may need to do what some people do and hired someone to write what you say. No, I'm not doing that. Since you can barely fucking read. I'm willing to bet you're shit at typing and spelling. I can type. You're just not going to be able to read it. You've mentioned an exit strategy and what you will do when you hang up the old proverbial hat. Writing a book that is raw and exposes all of Bill that would make us all laugh our asses off, yet relate to some of your mental struggles. Yeah, basically, and life experiences would be a killer way to say goodbye one day. Yeah. Well, I'm only 57. I'm not ready to say goodbye yet. So you'll also have all of these podcasts to listen to when I'm gone, which I like to think some of the jokes or something will be worth listening to, hopefully. And if not, it just fades into the ether. You've been making us all laugh for years, and I hope you keep pumping out specials. But when you think it's time for the old Billy to be on the road a lot less and hang up the proverbial hat, write the damn book. I'm pretty excited about the release of certain books, but if you wrote a book, I'd be one of those fucking nerds online at midnight to get one upon release, or whatever the hell book nerds do. Write the book. All right, well, you know, I became a dad late in life, so I think I need to catch up with you guys to have a little more perspective. So maybe that seems like about 10 years away. Anyway, who's playing Monday Night Football tonight? What a great time of year this is. And how about the fucking Red Sox and Yankees playing each other in the playoffs? This is going to be great. I don't know if I'm going to be able to handle it. Because baseball, I don't hate the Yankees anymore. Oh, I started to talk about that. You know, and I was watching like Ohio State, and they don't bug me anymore. Because, you know, it's like Harbaugh's gone. That other guy's, who's the other guy there? The guy before the guy they got now. The fuck was that guy's name? I don't know. Great fucking coach. He's gone. Nick Saban is gone. I don't know. I don't know. It's all weird now in like college football. It's like the kids are making money, which is good, but I know money always corrupts, but it was always corrupt. So the kids at least should get paid if they're out there, you know, knocking their heads around and shit. So anyways, that is the podcast. Once again, what a fucking experience that was. And I want to thank everybody that put together the festival and was nice enough to have me over there. I could not have had a better time. And as always, I learned a lot when, I think I just keep learning the same thing. I keep learning the same thing is what, it's better to go somewhere and make up your own fucking mind and interact with people than it is, I don't know. It's just better to do that. That's why I made sure I went to all 50 states. I've gone to all the lower provinces in Canada, to try to understand or whatever. I got to make a list to see. I used to buy all the flags too. I got to get caught up because there was some, and there's another thing too. I don't count countries where I just connected in. Like I connected in Qatar both times, but I don't consider, I don't count that I've been to that country unless I went out and hung out with people that were there. That's another thing too. I'll tell you what's fucking so fucking overrated is tourist attractions. Because all you're going to do is first of all, you got to stand in line and then you're just running into people that also don't know shit about that country. I mean, I guess you could run into people in different countries. So I don't know. Some of the experiences I've had. I sat in a government office in fucking India trying to get a piece of paper that said I could leave, and I didn't know if I was going to be able to leave or not. And I was sitting there, and there was a woman from Afghanistan in the exact same boat, and she spoke English, and we just sat there shooting the shit for like 3 hours. And I'll tell you, that was more interesting to me than fucking standing in line at the Leaning Tower of Pisa, or to do that dumb fucking picture that idiots do where you put your finger on top of the fucking Eiffel Tower. But if that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do. If you want to do your Charlie's Angel fucking pose, go ahead and do it. I don't give a fuck. All right. Oh, Grouchy Bill is done here. All right. That's it. Go fuck yourselves. And I will talk to you guys. I'll check in on you. That's right. On Thursday. Okay. Little jet lagged. All right. Bye.